Hey guys, Brittany coming at you with another hive inspection. It is Monday, September 29th. We just have a few days left until October, so it's really crunch time for beekeeping. It's been about a week since we got into Pink Hive and installed a new queen. So we need to see if they released her, if they accepted her, and is she laying. We haven't been into White Hive and Green Hive in about 2 weeks almost, and we need to get into White Hive, see if that new queen is still laying, because she had just started laying when we got in there and found her 2 weeks ago. So we need to see how her laying pattern is she building up brood, see if Green Hive is still doing well, and we need to pay attention to all of their resources, their brood, all the frames, all the things, and kind of keep in mind we're going into winter soon. Do we need to equalize hives, combine hives? What do we need to do? That's what we're going to figure out today. If that sounds good to you, keep watching and let's get into it.
Hands in the earth, we're making it right. Planting hope by morning light. Every seed a promise sown. Together we'll make the world our own.
All right, so as you just saw, I did take off my feeders as I was taking all this off. I hadn't been feeding them prior to this last inspection because they just weren't really taking it. We've had a lot of foraging with goldenrod and ragweed, and then more recently I have noticed calico aster, and I'll throw a picture in, which has just popped out of nowhere. I even have some along the back fence line, and they have really been going at it, and other pollinators, so that's great to see that we have that. Anyway, last week when we got in here, I went ahead and put feed back on here because last week we had a lot of rain for about a week. Yeah, it was a week that was just a bunch of rain. This is not going to work. The queen is gone. The queen candy's gone, so they have released the queen. Guess I'm going to wait on this. I'm moving that because I'm not going to be able to. All right, so it's a little tight in here. This has a bigger gap, if you can tell, because of the way that I put the queen box in there. So this is a little more snug than usual. So I'm really happy with the foraging that they've been able to do. I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, it's because if you've been watching my channel, I've still later in the season than you would really want to be doing, I've still been trying to get them to drop frames, just because of the way my season has gone. Started with one package and, in short, turned that package into 3 hives due to catching them with swarm cells a few times and doing splits. And then this hive and White Hive, I guess it's probably been about a month ago, I found, this is hard with it being so tight. Ooh, shoot, it's getting better. I just want to, oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, they're drawing that out nicely. Oh, this poor hive and the small hive beetles have just been a thing. It's so frustrating. Anyway, about a month ago, this hive, Pink Hive, and White Hive, they had queen cells in here and there, and so that's been a journey trying to make sure they didn't swarm, didn't lose half my colony. And I had the queen that was originally in here, I had pulled with a couple frames of bees and brood and put them as just a resource hive as a backup. That way I wouldn't lose half of my colony and wouldn't lose my mated queen, because the time that they were, goodness gracious, they're popularizing really well. Okay, is that a leaf? That was a leaf. Shoot. I'm really not super focused. I feel like that's the story of my life. Anyway, the time of year that they were, trying to raise a new queen, just kind of iffy on if that's going to be successful or not, because it's the time of year when drones are starting to be kicked out. The drone congregation areas are going to be smaller, so I didn't want to rely on them having to raise a new queen and not have a backup. So turns out that was a good decision because, well, I had 2 queens on backup and one of them absconded. I think it was due to robbing. I know it was due to robbing. And then so Green Hive successfully raised a new queen, and this hive seemingly had not. So I installed my backup queen in here, which was actually the queen that was in here that I had pulled. We marked her so that we can see if if she's the queen we find in here, if we do find a queen, and if we find an unmarked queen, then there was apparently a virgin queen or young queen or whatever out there that we just weren't seeing. But I wasn't finding any signs of a new queen, no eggs or anything, and their behavior was just pretty it was just more spicy than usual, and it just felt like they were queenless. So okay, so this inspection, I've said this before, but part of the reason that I started videoing my inspections was as a way to take notes, because it's just so hard. Like, I mean, come on, taking notes, like physically writing down notes while you're inspecting, that's just difficult. So I can video my inspections, and then when I'm editing them, I take notes from there and reevaluate everything that I may have overlooked or forgotten. So like I said, we're really paying attention to what the hives have and what we're going to do with that. So the first frame I pulled out is quite drawn, but nothing in it. The second frame is about half drawn and it has a lot of nectar in it. This third frame is super heavy. It's not fully drawn, but it has a lot of nectar and honey on both sides. There's a drone. We still have drones in the area, but that's definitely going to really change over the next few weeks. Oh, you can't see. I need to do it more. Oh, small hive beetle. Oh, no, you need up. Okay, so this colony, with the time that they were queenless and just really, really busy, I could just see how busy they were. I feel like they've probably had the most opportunity to build up resources, and maybe even to the point of being honey bound. Also, I don't think I said this. I usually like to start with my smallest or easiest inspection. This one, I feel like is going to maybe be my most challenging. I feel like they're maybe the biggest, maybe not. But we're looking for a queen. So, and looking to see if she's laying. So I don't know. It just feels like the most intricate, I guess. Just utilize this J hook. So sticky. I got lots of honey. All right, can you see better? All right, this is frame 4. Lots of cap honey and nectar that will soon be capped. There are a couple of queen cells that looks like they've all been destroyed. And lots of drones on this frame. Did I finish? I don't think I finished. I decided, even though I usually start with the least challenging inspection, I decided for a few reasons to go ahead and start with this one. One, I was kind of anxious to see if, things went well with the installation of the queen here. And I had a really challenging weekend. I'll get back to that. So I felt like maybe I should go ahead and start with the hardest and then have a simple one to end with. And then also, as the sun comes this way, as the day goes on, it hits this one first. So I thought, well, you know what? I'll be better off, because it's warming up fast today. It's going to be hot today. So I should probably go ahead and do this one first. That way I don't have to be in the sun. Oh goodness, another heavy one. They are doing really well with the resource department. I need to be quicker. I don't need to stare at honey and nectar, which this is. It's quite drawn out and very full. So even though this one isn't 100% drawn out, it's very drawn out. It's about the same on your side and this side. I feel like that's still a solid frame that we could overwinter with, like it's not 100%, but I think it's like to the point where it'd be good enough. So the weekend I planned on doing this inspection yesterday, Sunday, and that just didn't happen because I also have chickens, and it's a small flock, and we just eat their eggs. They aren't meat birds. They are pets, and we eat their eggs. And I started my flock 2.5 years ago. I hatched out my own eggs, and well, they were eggs from a friend's flock. Hatched them out and had to rehome a few cockerels because you can't have that many. Anyway, one of those original girls I had originally hatched out, she's had some health issues. She only laid eggs for about 6 months of her life. They took 10 months before they finally laid the first egg, and then she only laid for about 6 months, and then she stopped laying. And I established that was because they were having a summer molt, but then she never started laying again like the others did. Her abdomen at the beginning of this year, all right, just a note on this one. This is frame 6, quite drawn, not entirely, but quite drawn, lots of nectar and honey. Anyway, at the beginning of this year, I could just feel that her abdomen was starting to feel more full and firm. So I chalked it up to water belly, and just assumed so. I tried a few times over the past few months. I tried to drain her, because you can drain water belly. It's you can't cure it, but if you drain them, then it takes the pressure off and can extend their life. Well, I unsuccessfully tried to drain her. And so, I mean, it could have been water belly and I just didn't do it right. Or I kind of also started thinking that maybe it was a tumor. So, over the past few days, she stopped eating and then she stopped roosting and voluntarily was sleeping in my sick bay in the coop. And then she started just staying in there. All right, this one's quite drawn. Not entirely, but quite. Has lots of nectar and honey. Mostly nectar, and they're starting to cap it. But anyway, she stopped eating, but she was still drinking. And then yesterday, when I let him out and fed him, I could just see like the time had come. I'm not going to linger on this story because I have a small flock. I know them all. If you have chickens, you know, like they have their own personality. They're not just chickens, you know. I mean, yeah, they're chickens, but like they have personalities and they're so fun and entertaining. And I mean, you can, with the right personality, many of them I have found are even snuggly, and I just love them so much because I have such a small flock and I know them. It's hard. It's not like I have 100 chickens and I just have 100 chickens and not that if you have 100 chickens you don't care about them, but you know, like if you have 100 chickens you're not going to get to know them individually like you would with the small flock I have. Anyway, it was really hard. I knew it was her day and I decided that I needed to spend my time with her and not do the inspections today. So I held her and loved on her and talked to her, sang to her until she raised her head up, flapped her wings, and then she was gone. That may be a neurological thing that caused that to happen, but I would like to think that that was her spirit flying as she gained her second wings and leaving her body and flying up to heaven. I don't need to know your opinion on if animals go to heaven or not, and I don't need to know if that was indeed a neurological thing and not, you know, whatever. But so yeah, all that said, yesterday was not great and I cried a lot and it was very draining. I mean, if you've lost a pet, that's what it was for me. You know, she wasn't just a chicken. And to add to that, oh, there's our queen. Is she marked? She's not marked. Oh, wow. Okay. Dang. Okay. Well, that's not what I was expecting. Now I feel bad for reinstalling the queen that I did. I suppose they could have cleaned her off. Probably not likely. Well, now I'm kind of sad. I mean, I guess where'd she go? There she is. Yeah, she looks smaller to me. I see eggs though, so she's mated. Okay, well, maybe nature knows best. I hope she was well mated with it being late season. Okay. Well, that's really throwing me for a loop, but I see lots of eggs in here. She's laying an egg right now. I don't know if you can see her or not. She's laying an egg, so that's good that she's chill. I mean, she's just doing her thing. Okay. Well, could they have cleaned her up? Do I see any markings on her at all? No. And she kind of looks to be on the smaller side. Okay, I need to focus and do what we gotta do. Okay, well, there's that. Okay, so we have a queen. Looks like a new queen since she's not marked and we had marked the one we reinstalled. That's sad to me. Also could have gone really poorly because when they found each other, you know, they would fight and could both be injured and die. So looks like we got away with that not happening. What in the world are we doing here? Oh, okay. Here is, I don't know if you're going to see this or not. I don't know if you can see that queen cell right there, but it has a flap. So that is assumably the one that she emerged from. There's a flap where she would have come out. Oh, no. That looks like there's a larva in here. Oh, my. Oh, there is. Okay. That's not the one she came out of. Man, this hive went crazy with the queen cells. Okay. Well, okay. Do we see eggs on this side? We do. Not we. I do. Okay, we have nectar and eggs and capped brood and yeah, okay. Oh goodness, tell you what, shoot. See a bunch of small hive beetle up here. Can I get them? Oh, the crunch. Got some of them anyway. All right, and these leaves are falling like crazy. Okay, nectar and something up there. I can't even see because the bees are all over. Hands are sticky. Big old drone. Few drones. Can I see what's under you, ma'am? Thank you. All right, we have kept brood. Try not to smash bees. Okay, been a while since we smoked them, but they're being good, so that's nice. Okay, well, I mean, so long as she mated well, I mean, I guess it's good to go into the season with a younger queen. Okay, with this misalignment of the frames because of the queen cage, they have started kind of attaching this one to the wall. Not badly though. That right there, if you can see that the holes there, that's where they were kind of making it a little wonky. Oh, and this is also okay. This was also a frame that we put in here from the resource hive that we had to pull the queen, and we got something of a small hive beetle situation. Anyway, they got robbed, and this frame was a little damaged from that, so that's what that is. All right, really not much over here, but it was really close to the wall. All right, let's see. I'm gonna scrape this off, let it drop, and see if they can just maybe reuse it. I don't know, we'll see. And then I think what I'm gonna do is just push these to where we can just put this frame in over here. Slide it in. Is it over enough? I don't think that'll work. And okay, so these are almost entirely drawn, and a lot of them are filled with nectar and honey. I do know we're gonna have to see how the frames are being drawn out over in the other hives, but we might move some of these. Again, that's going to be something that we just have to reevaluate as we go. Oh, got 3 of them. This poor hive, I don't know why, but this hive has just had more small hive beetle than my other 2, and I don't understand why. Oh, got another one there. I need to get the oil traps in here, and I forgot to bring them out, but I am going to get them. All right, so I'm going to put this on here to help with robbing, to help prevent robbing, and then we'll move them over here so we can get into the bottom deep and see what it looks like. I'm going to here, I might use it on here. Enough. Holy cow, that's heavy. Oh my goodness. All right, so just my initial view. I'm gonna remember, and I'm gonna start over here because they primarily come in right there. So if I start taking those out, that's not gonna be ideal. Let's see. Yeah, they're really not doing anything with those. So actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just skip these first 2 and go to this one. Okay, they're drawing this out, but it's not entirely drawn. So these, let's see. Yeah, these first 2, they've got the starter strip. They're kind of working on them, but not much. So an idea that I had was to possibly insert some foam insulation on either side of the frames to essentially turn my 10 frame boxes into 8 frame boxes. Since I don't have, I'm probably not going to have the full 20 frames drawn and ready to go. So I know the insulating part, you primarily just want to insulate the lid, but that's not really the reason I would want to add the insulation. My thought is that it would reduce the volume that they would have to warm through the winter. I'm looking to see if the queen has been down here. Doesn't look like it. There's nectar. Oh, they're putting nectar and pollen or bee bread in here. If you can see that or not. I'm going to just put this here and continue to slide them this way. Quite light. It has bee bread in it though, so that's good. We do not see eggs. Oh, I do see a moth that is assumably, I don't know, is that a wax moth? Did I get it? I think it flew away. Oh, they've got lots of bee bread over here. I'm still seeing a lot of drones. I should also note, like I was saying, based on their behavior, they just seemed queenless, and that they were just more spicy, didn't seem as grounded, and yeah, I'm not getting that now. But we did see a queen, so that would seem like maybe I was right in sensing that they were queenless based on their behavior. Now, this time of year is robbing season, and so, you know, spiciness can be due to that, but based on all of the factors, it made sense that it was essentially from being queenless. I brought that shirt over to cover them, and I haven't covered them, but I think we're fine because even though it is robbing season, we've had a lot of goldenrod and other things for them to forage on. Saw another small hive beetle over here. I don't know. And it smells so good. Like I've heard a lot of people compare goldenrod to smelly gem socks, but I gotta tell you guys, I actually like it. I found a description of it that I think it describes what I smell better, and that was musky butterscotch. I think that's pretty fitting, and I don't think it smells bad. I like it. Okay, lots of bee bread and some nectar. They're working on some capping the nectar, making some honey. I don't know if I finished saying my thought, but just if I were to add some foam insulation or something to take the space, to fill the space of a frame, if I were able to remove 4 frames, then I wouldn't have to have as many drawn and filled frames going into winter. I mean, and it also, so it concerns me thinking about going into winter with single deeps. I know people do it, but it concerns me. This has a lot of bee bread, hedgy pollen legs, and nectar. Same on this side. Also, I haven't seen another queen, which makes me sad because I don't know. Bless her heart. She worked so hard staying over there, keeping them going, and I don't know. I wish I could have maybe rehomed her and put her to use. But then again, I mean, I don't know. The cells in this hive, if I remember correctly, I feel like they were more in the supersedure position. So I don't know. Maybe something was wrong with her. I don't know. But so if that's the case, then they were, maybe replacing her for a reason. Is what it is now, and we'll roll with it. They are drawing this out and putting some nectar in there. Not super deep, but I guess it's deep enough that they're putting nectar in there and a little bit of bee bread, and they're just starting on this. I am fully aware that I am pushing the limits on what my bees can and will do this time of year as far as drawing out frames, but I don't know, right now it's been fun, so I don't know. I guess I'm just going with it. Hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. I'm wondering if we could find the queen maybe on the ground over there under the landing board or in the area, because I mean, she had to go somewhere, I assume. By the way, that was partially drawn and nothing in it. She had to go somewhere, so I mean, I assume that the new queen killed her and they pulled her out and dropped her somewhere. Do I see eggs? No. All right. No eggs there. What is that? Oh, they're all clustered down there at the bottom, and it's the wax that I scraped off of the wall. And I see some small hive beetle. Okay, yeah, we definitely need to get those oil traps back in here. They need some assistance. I want this one. This one's not very drawn. All right, we're gonna do that, and we'll do this. Okay, so they've got lots of resources and doing pretty good on drawn out frames. I think we're definitely approaching the point of maybe doing what I said of reducing this to be like an 8-frame box instead of a 10-frame, and I just feel like that would be better than doing a single deep in the winter. All right, guys, I will see you in Green Hive. Yeah, so even with the nectar flow, they have been taking this, so I'm happy about that. Gotta give these girls all the resources we can to build them up for winter. They're still drawing comb, raising brood, trying to store resources, so yeah. And you can see that I have 3 Viroxian strips up here. That's because last time we were in here, they just weren't really in the bottom deep very much. So I thought, well, you know what? There's more activity up here. They're going to come in contact with it more if I have them up here. So there's 1 strip in the bottom and then the 3 up here. All right, so I can see these 2 frames don't look like they've really done anything as far as drawing them out. So, it could be like a really good idea to do the 8 frames, because then if I do make it to where they're essentially 8-frame boxes instead of 10, it'd have 16 frames instead of 20. But I mean, that would, the 20 wouldn't work anyway if they're not drawn and they're just empty. So, but then in comparison to if I were to overwinter in just a single deep, they would have 6 more frames than they would in a single deep. So in my mind, that makes sense. Okay, I was wrong. Oh, maybe I should take this one out too. I didn't think they were really working on this one, but they are. So we're going to take this one out to give us the room to work. And okay, they are actually starting on this, but nothing really to speak of. What is that? It's a spider. Okay, they've drawn it some. So I don't know, maybe do they have time? I don't know. And yeah, I think I'm going to just scooch them this way like I've been doing. This has my original package queen in here, Queen Beatrice, and she has just done really, really well for me. All right. Oh, okay. Not only was I wrong that they weren't drawing this out, they have drawn out this side, not so much on this side, but they have nectar and bee bread in there. So I stand corrected. This is a heavier frame. I have capped brood on this side, but it looks like they might be phasing that out because it's got a lot of nectar and bee bread. A little brood on that side and a little smidge of a patch over here. Kind of weird that it's not in the middle, but that's why I'm thinking maybe they're phasing it out. This side, some capped brood, lot of nectar and bee bread. They've got a little bit of honey at the top. Still seeing drones over here. Saw quite a few in Pink Hive, and I'm seeing them in here, so that's interesting. Maybe it's because of the goldenrod nectar flow. And another thing I talked about liking the smell. I was in my chicken coop, no, the chicken run the other day, and oh my gosh, I caught a whiff of my hives. I got this whiff of goldenrod, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's crazy how strong the smell is. But again, I like it. All right, lots of capped brood, and these these not capped bases have either nectar or bee bread. Yeah, so I don't feel like that's bad as far as, like a spotty brood pattern. It's a nicely drawn frame. Let's see. I see eggs. I see eggs in this empty spot there in the middle, and then there's capped brood, nectar, honey, bee bread, all the things. Yeah, so that kind of hard with the dappled sunlight through the trees with the shadows, but you can see that patch in the middle that is seemingly empty. There are eggs there, so that's good. All right, this has some capped brood at the bottom, has some larvae, some teensy larvae, some bigger larvae, so that's good. And we have some nectar, honey, bee bread. All right, and lots of capped brood on this side, some nectar. Oh, and our queen. There's our queen. There's our queen right there. All right, so we want to be especially careful with this frame. All right, lots of nectar and some honey, capped brood, larvae, bee bread. I'm seeing a little uncapping with purple-eyed pupa, but not a lot. I've also seen, I can't remember for sure. I have it marked down. I can't remember how many weeks the Roxanne has been in. It's not time to take it out yet. But I have seen the number of mites dropping on my bottom board insert. I have seen them greatly reduced. All right, and that assumably means that our mite numbers are going down. All right, and I also saw some small larvae on that other side. All right, capped brood and nectar, some honey, and bee bread. And so the thing about, when I see larvae, the thing about feeding them, even though they have a nectar flow, that allows them to store the nectar they're bringing in and use the sugar water to help them raise the brood. All right, solid sheet of capped brood on this side and some honey. This is a solid box up here. I'm going to use this shirt to cover them on this side and kind of protect them a little, and maybe try to get them to calm down just a little because they are getting a little wound up. All right, this is nicely drawn and chock full of nectar, and they're working on capping it. Same on this side. That might be teensy weensy larvae. It is. There's some teensy weensy larvae there in the middle. Wonder if there is on this. Oh, it is. That makes sense. That darker portion, if you can see, it's glossy in there, but it's not nectar. It's teensy weensy larvae. So we have that rainbow. All right, lots and lots of nectar in this one. All right, so lots of nectar and some capped brood there. Nicely drawn. We're going to take a peek at this one. It doesn't look like they've done a lot. They're working on it. It's not super drawn, but they're working on it. Now, which one do we want in there first? We'll go with this one. This back on there. Semi-close them up. All right, well, once again, this doesn't look very populated. That's disappointing. That one's not really drawn. I think I'm gonna cover this side. That's where they're all coming in and they're just bubbling out from the top of them, about half of it. So that first frame really was not drawn at all. This frame, they're drawing out, but there's nothing in it, and it's not really much to speak of. Very light. All right, I need sun. There's nothing in here. Dang it. I don't understand why they're not doing anything in this bottom. Very light. Again, yeah, it's untouched. We are going to scooch these over, and for now, just put it on the outside here. They're not going to draw it out. Not this year anyway. Drawn, but nothing in here. All right, I don't understand why the queen's not coming down here. That's bizarre. Light drawn, but nothing in here. Very light drawn, but not on that side. All right, we're gonna do the same thing and put this one over here for now anyway. Keep the drawn frames together. It's drawn on this one side, but not on the other. And yeah, I'm gonna take a peek at this. I'm not really understanding why they're not putting anything in these bottom frames. That just doesn't make sense. I don't know. Is there a reason? Like maybe it does make sense, but I don't know the sense because I'm a new beekeeper, first year beekeeper. I don't know. I need these bees to move. I want them to go down, not bubble up. Yeah, nothing. They barely put pollen in here. All right, that's undrawn. That's undrawn. Okay, we are going to take this off and we're going to take these out and put the drawn frames over here because that's where they primarily fly in and out of. So I think it makes sense to put them, the drawn frames over there where they can have more easy access to do something. All right, so we still have one frame there that's undrawn, but it makes it a little easier to get to the undrawn ones. I'm gonna put this one right there where they're coming in. The top box look good. This one, not so much. I don't understand why they're not doing anything in these bottom frames. I don't understand that. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Okay, definitely a lot of information to consider. Yeah, all right, I will meet you in White Hive. Alright, so this hive, like I said, it's been almost 2 weeks since we were in here and found that they had raised a new queen. She had just started laying because we only found a small amount of egg, and timing wise it makes sense that she really had just newly started laying. And I can see we should be good to just scooch this all to this side and put that frame we just took out back in on this end. I can see that this frame is just foundation and untouched. All right, this is really drawn on this side, and well, I say that in a portion of it need to raise you up more. On the left side of it, pretty drawn, and they're starting to put nectar and pollen. Oh, but this side's much better. Lots of nectar and honey. Oh, that little girl has some propolis on her leg. Kind of just looks like caramel. Look, this next frame looks like it's very drawn and maybe lots of honey. Oh, well, I stand corrected. It has honey, but it also has a lot of kept brood. You're further away for this inspection where I've got you. I'll have to show you a close up. There is capped brood, larva, and then the rainbow effect of the brood, nectar, and honey. So it looks like this queen is really doing well because that capped brood has to be hers. More capped brood and larva, honey. Very nice brood pattern. Very nice. That is really great to see. Oh, there's another whiff of the goldenrod. Oh, I see some girls on the calico aster back there along the fence line. More capped brood and oh, I see eggs. And do I see larvae there? Eggs there. I do see some larvae too. A nice, really nice brood pattern. Can you see that? Very nice. I like their demeanor too. They're just working. Oh, there goes another leaf. More capped brood. I think that's probably going to be eggs. Yep, eggs down there at the bottom. All right, well, I like what I'm seeing from this new queen, and these girls are being really calm, but I do need them to move so I can get to the frame. What I'm really curious to see is what the bottom deep looks like, and I feel I feel like what I'm going to do is take this information, go edit the video, and get on paper what we're looking at frame wise, and then make a calculated decision, and then get back in here either next weekend, maybe sooner. I don't know for sure about that, and kind of figure out more for sure what we're going to do going into winter. All right, more solid brood. This portion on the right side, am I dripping nectar? Dang it, I hope I'm not. It's because the Baroxian strip there. More kept brood, larva, honey, nectar, all the things that you want to see. Yay. I haven't seen our queen yet, but oh, as I say that, can you see her? Yay, good job, girly. Yeah, I feel like the queen we saw in Pink Hive, this queen I'm looking at, I feel like she's bigger than the one was in Pink Hive. I would like to think that that it was maybe the queen that we reinstalled and they just cleaned off the marking, but I don't think that that's actually what happened. I think that there was a queen out there, and I could have given it more time to check again in a week, and I don't know. I don't know, right, wrong, or indifferent. I did what I did, and with it being so late in the season, I just didn't want to leave them queenless for any longer, and I did what I did, and it is what it is. All right, lots of larvae on this one, and I think it's just various stages of larvae. Yeah, some teensy larvae up top. You'll be able to see or not. Probably not going to see the larvae because they're small, but they're in there, and we have some honey at the top, and bee bread, more larvae. Holy cow, girl, you are a great queen from what I'm seeing. Capped honey. All right. And again, this little strip there where there are kind of no bees, that's really not drawn out, and it's where the Varoxian strip was. So this is the queen here is a granddaughter to my original package queen, who's in Green Hive. And the one we had reinstalled in Pink Hive was a daughter, but since the queen we found today wasn't marked, I've got to assume that it's not the one we reinstalled and is in fact a new queen, and also a granddaughter of Queen Beatrice. I thought it would be kind of neat if we could have my package queen in one, a daughter of hers in another, and then a granddaughter in another. Have 3 generations, but again, it is what it is, and oh well. Heavier frame, got lots of honey up there at the top, and eggs underneath it, nectar around it, more eggs, nectar, honey. All right, this is honey and nectar and some pollen. So this is a resource frame, and we have exited the broodness. It was a nice broodness. This has a lot of nectar. Fly on my arm. All right, this one I can see isn't really drawn, but they're drawing it out where it's not. You can see they're starting on it, so they're starting on it. And that one that we have down there, it can go on the outside because they really haven't done much with it. And I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing right now, but I'm also kind of thinking, what's my plan? Part of me is thinking, what if we got to see what's going on in the bottom deep of this one, but I'm also thinking, Green Hive isn't getting down into that bottom deep, so I'm just kind of wondering, maybe we overwinter one in a single deep, and then maybe we can overwinter the other 2 in double deep. I don't know yet. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's heavy. Heavy. Okay, well, we're gonna have to see what this looks like down here upon initial. Roxy, why don't you go somewhere else, ma'am? You're gonna get stung. Upon initial observation here from the top, not looking lovely, but I feel like it's very possible that we could maybe do the 8 frame idea that I have in this one at least. We'll see. But this population here, they're at least working down here. I don't understand what's going on in the bottom deep of Green Hive. I don't understand. That first frame we pulled out is drawn, but it's about halfway down. This one is drawn, but about halfway down. No, nothing going on in it. And this one right here I can see is undrawn. Are they starting on it? Yeah, they're starting on it, but nothing on this side. I don't know if I'd be better to guess we'll leave this since it's got when I did my foundation sheets, I did it a little different each time that I made a new set of frames, and this one I did all the way down. The other one I didn't. I just did a starter strip. So I don't know, it might be better to give them this one to work with. The light frame, it's drawn, but I really don't see see anything. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Oh, some little drips of nectar. All right, nicely drawn, but nothing. Oh, but this side has some pollen, so that's good. All right, we're getting into messing with the foragers and confusing them. The lighter frame, they're packing it with some pollen, lots of pollen on this side and some nectar, so that's good. They are still utilizing it. Over in Green Hive, they aren't. They're just all going up to the top deep. And it's been like that because a couple weeks ago when we were in there, that was the same situation. So at least in this one, the top box looks great. And this bottom box, you know, it's needs some work, but honestly, I feel like it's doable with the time that they have. But I don't know. Green Hive has me perplexed. All right, this is drawn and they're packing it with pollen and some nectar. Same over here. Seems to have more pollen down here than nectar and honey, which is still good. It's necessary. All right, this is drawn with some pollen, drawn with some pollen, and a small hub. All right, this frame partially drawn, but they're working on it. Nothing on this side. So, and again, this one is the longer starter strip, and the one we have out, even though it's nicely drawn, it's only drawn about halfway. So I'm like, don't know which one we should go with closest to the middle. Let's see what this one looks like. They're working on drawing it out. I think we're gonna put this one here because it has the full starter strip and they are drawing it on both sides. It's not fully drawn, but it's decently drawn. And then I think we're gonna put this one in and then the other one because this has the full starter strip, so maybe that will help them with getting it on out. I don't know if that's right, wrong, or indifferent. And then we'll put this one in. Oh, we've got some pollen. Wonder if they could use. Can we just sit them on the frame? Maybe. All right, this one was heavy. All right, so this is kind of an afterthought because throughout the inspections, the White Hive wasn't too bad, but I saw an increasing population in small hive beetles. I only have 2 small hive beetle oil traps, which at best I could put one in 2 of my 3 frames and one wouldn't have anything. So something I've read about, and I haven't tried, but I've read that you can use quilting batting. So this is what, if you're a sewer, you know what it is, but this you could find in a sewing section in a store, and it's what you would put in your layers of fabric if you're making a quilt. It goes on the inside and it makes it thicker and plush, but it's kind of has a Velcro effect, but it's soft. It's not like scratchy. So what I did was, since I'm a craft hoarder, maybe more than just a craft hoarder, I have batting on hand, and so I cut pieces. These are probably, I didn't measure them, just kind of eyeballed them. They're probably like maybe 3 by 4 inches maybe, and I cut enough to where I can put one in each of the corners of each of the boxes. So it'd be 8 per hive. Did I count that right? If I didn't count it right, I'm gonna have to cut more and come back. But what you'll see is I'm just gonna show you what I'm doing with them. I'm gonna just slide the hives over, just barely open them up so that I can put these in the corners. And from what I'm read, and it makes sense based on the texture of the batting. From what I've read, the small hive beetle gather in the corners and they get stuck in here. And I've even read that you can reuse it. When you take it out, you can just kind of scrape them off and put it back in there, which seems like a great idea to me. So I'm just gonna try to scoot this over and put this in without tipping this over. I'm gonna just do one corner at a time. If this is gonna stop sticking to my sticky glove that's in there, I need my hive tool. Maybe I can stuff it in there. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Put that in there, and then I'm gonna pin this way. Maybe we're stuck. Okay. This is not gonna work like I had planned. They're all just coming out. Is it gonna work? Right, that was not going to work like I had planned, so we're just going to quickly take it apart and put these in place. All right, now we'll put this back. I won't be able to scoot it as much where it'll make these roll. That worked. It wasn't too bad. All right, now we're going to grab 4 more. I miscalculated. Yeah, but that's okay. I'll just go cut more. So I'm going to put these in here. I'm curious to see if it affects the bees. Oh, like if they get stuck. If they do, that wouldn't be good. All right. All right, well, 1 hive down, and you won't stick around for the other 2. But I'm going to get them in here, and hopefully that helps with the small hive beetle problem. And I will let you know next week, or, well, the next time I get in here, I'll let you know if it does. All right, guys, well, that concludes this week's hive inspection, I now have the information that I need to take and evaluate, put pen to paper, mark down what I have as far as frames of brood, honey, nectar, pollen. Are they drawn? Are they not drawn? And at this point, I'm going to be making some decisions on how I'm going to go into deeper into fall and then winter. I feel like I'm probably going to have the some inserts to make them not the 10 frames and the 8 frames, but I'm going to have to just look at them, look at the data, and then come into next week's inspection prepared to be manipulating frames. My goal this week was to see if Pink Hive was queen right. They are, not in the way that I expected, but they're queen right. White Hive is doing fantastically. I'm still just confused on Green Hive and why they're not touching the bottom deep. I don't know. That's bizarre. But that concludes this week's inspection. I definitely have some data to look at and then make decisions based off of and decide what I'm going to be doing next week and how my overwintering is going to really start to look like. But I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned some things along the way. If you do enjoy this type of video, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any uploads and updates from me. Check out brittany'sbotanicalbling.com where I sell my handmade items. This beekeeping veil is one of them. I have some handmade jewelry themed to bees and chickens and plants and other things. And I've also started blogging on there, so I like where it's going. Check that out. And YouTube thinks that this video is a video that you would enjoy and find helpful. So click on it and watch it next, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.